Does parenthood drive couples to infidelity? A new study done in conjunction with USA's buzzy new drama Satisfaction reveals intriguing insights about marriage and fidelity culture. Fidelity and culture expert Melissa Levine-DeVille joins us this morning with some surprising new findings. Melissa, good morning.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
So the new USA series Satisfaction is pretty much asking, what do you do when having it all is not enough? So a new scientific study attempts to answer those questions, and so far, by examining Americans' opinions on the nature of marriage, love, relationships, fidelity, it reveals some startling results. If you could speak to those results a little bit for us.
Well, I think some of the results, first of all, if there were no consequences to our actions, 81% of 18 to 49-year-olds actually say that they'd cheat. I think this is surprising because at the same time, 82% of that same group says that they have zero tolerance for cheating. So there's a little bit of a double standard going on here.
So, and then how about parents? Would you say that parents are more likely just than couples without children to maybe commit adultery too?
Yeah, I mean, what we found is that 24% of parents said that they've cheated on their significant other versus only 15% of non-parents. Now, this is self-reported. Maybe the parents are just more honest. But what we really feel after doing a bunch of qualitative research after the study is that, parents, like from the earliest mornings and hours to late at night, they're with the kids, they're at work, they're busy, there's very little me time. And a lot of people were saying that, it's a kind of a break from the kids, or I need to get back to an aspect of myself that maybe kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Well, and what do you think the drive is behind the infidelity? Does parenthood maybe have anything to do with it? Maybe you're not getting enough of that me time, that couple time?
Well, exactly. I think that that's the parents talking. So I think it's a little bit of, we all get swept up in this idea of having it all. And I think we all still aspire to it. But you realize that having it all is a lot. I mean, it is a lot to handle. And I think that what people are finding is that they do need a break. And parents maybe more so than non-parents, because the added responsibility of children just makes everything a bit more challenging, and you have to be a little bit more selfless.
Well, and then you talk about people just not really having those consequences for this. Do you think that social media plays any role in that, having an effect on marriage and
I mean, it's
infidelity?
impossible to draw, direct links, but I think social media has both the good and the bad. I would say on the positive side, we can meet far more people. We're not just kind of restricted to our, geographic circles anymore, and that's great because that gives people more choice and more chance to kind of meet that perfect match. I think the flip side is a lot of people are waiting and not settling down because they feel like, well, there's, exponentially more fish in the digital sea. I don't know if I want to decide right now. And also, that sort of line that has gotten blurred of what actually cheating is when it comes to interactions on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, what have you. So I think that it's a complicated topic right now.
Finding trouble drawing that line. Maybe kick it back to just using common sense and a little bit of respect on what's right and what's wrong. Now, there are some modern terms here, relationship terms that maybe some people are not quite familiar with, such as monogamish-ish and uncoupling. What are those?
Well, Dan Savage coined monogamish, but monogamish is the idea that, we aspire to be monogamous, but actually a majority, 51% of America says that, monogamy, it's a social expectation, but it may not be a biological reality. So monogamish is kind of that little wiggle room, right? It's the idea of generally you're with someone else, you're committed to them, you're invested in the relationship, but it gives a little leeway for the occasional slip up, if you will. So a little bit more flexibility. Now, America's not down with it. Only 14% of people said that they would prefer a monogamish relationship to a monogamous one, but 21% of men are open to it, so I think that that's interesting. Uncoupling, we all heard this from Gwyneth Paltrow, but uncoupling actually is, I think, kind of trending right now. Especially with Gen Ys, they do not necessarily believe that a marriage has to last forever in order to be successful. 56% say that marriage doesn't need to last forever to be successful. And actually 18% say it doesn't matter how long it lasts, so long as it ends peacefully. So uncoupling is kind of that idea of it's deciding to part ways, but without maybe some of the stigma and cost associated with divorce.
Very interesting. Well, what would you say is just the key to being happy with what you do have? What would you say is maybe just your take home today about everyone's happiness?
I mean, I think that, things used to happen in lockstep for everyone, and happiness was kind of there was a little bit of a formula that we, you know, maybe knowingly or not subscribed to. And that was kind of the first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. And, you know, that idea of having it all, the kids, the career, the marriage, the house, so on and so forth. And I think a great thing today is that, first of all, women are much more independent. We have far more choice. We're much more financially successful, educated, on par, if not even, you know, excelling past men in some cases. So people can kind of come up with their own formula, their own solution, what works for them. It doesn't need to be just one size fits all. And I think that that syncs up really well for a generation that's been used to customizing everything.
All right, fascinating stuff here, Melissa. Thank you so much. Also, do you have a website that we can go to, maybe about finding our own satisfaction?
Absolutely. I mean, you can visit USA's website, and you can also visit mine, theculturecoop.com.
Melissa, thank you so much. We are going to have
thanks for having me.
more on this segment at fox4morningblend.com.
Fascinating to say the least, I would say so. All right, one last look at your Fox forecast, then we'll be right back.